Rita Patricia from the
I'm for next. TB works network.
Afreh TB. Yeah, we want to TB work.
CSMO for future generations.
Emmanuel Kwame, hope for future generations.
Antonio Gumado, stop the garbage.
That's the baby. Stop TV. Manuela, I need to be to sport TV.
First, you the vice chair of the party.
This is Yaw Adusi-Poku.
Is that what the NC? Now, gentlemen,
Adam Shea, Stop TV Partnership.
thank you so much for coming. Why are we here? Briefly, I will leave that to the next person, Chief Austin. But I want to welcome you per the agenda here. We have here the civil society who have won the challenge facility. We'd like to know what is the challenge facility, why are we involving the National Tuberculosis Control Programme, what are we going to achieve. These things we would like you to align. We want to see the direction of this. And so this is going to be brief. At the end of the day, the national program expects why do we have this challenge facility for Ghana? What is the direction for Ghana? What do we hope to have? What are the objectives? And what will be the outcomes? After how many months or after how many years? And so that we can also report this upwards to the superiors. So this is my introduction and I welcome all of you. The next person to introduce this is the Stop TV Partnership. One of the civil societies, he has introduced himself as Chief Austin, Vice Chair of the Stop TV Partnership. I hand over to Chief Austin. Over.
It will be a very short meeting. The reason is that we all know when you talk about TB response in the whole world or even in Ghana, it is within the custodian of the public sector. It is the government. So other players, including private sector, civil society, they are coming in to complement that public sector effort. And that public sector effort is built on a well-consulted, collaborated NSP that we all developed together. And we are working together as well. So anything that is outside the NSP is not like, we would like it welcome. But most importantly is we know that when it comes to TB funding, it's quite dwindling. It has never been enough. And at the moment now, we know that it's even going, pointing downwards, more especially. And also, when it comes to this part of the world, we know that Global Fund has been, the ultimate in terms of funding for TB in this part of the world. But we also have other support from USAID and also from other, little donors. But again, as we complement the effort of the public sector, we also have a role to play in terms of bringing in other resources, not just only money, but also expertise into the country to make sure that we all work together and end TB in our lifetime in terms of complementing that effort. And that is where the challenge facility comes in. Challenge facility is one mechanism that developed by the Top 3 Partnership in Geneva. That was in 2007. Happens that Afro Global Alliance and also Hope for Generation are the pioneer recipients of this challenge facility initiative. That was in 2007, which gave birth to TB Voice Network. So this mechanism is actually one single mechanism that allows resources to trickle down to communities at the very at the lowest level. And what it does is actually sometimes to not only advocacy, because it has taken a lot of faces, from receiving $10,000 to all the way receiving up to 100,000, 80,000, 200,000. And the phases that I'm talking about it has taken is that we've tried implementation, we've tried service delivery, And now we're trying advocacy because we know that left for the National TB program alone, but it will be almost impossible for them to get the required resources, adequate resources they need. But sufficient enough. This civil society are complementing that effort, making sure that they build voices around the National TB program and become some kind of a communication arm for the program. We know what it means for a public sector to advocate against the public sector. It means that you want to put your job in danger. So, but civil society comes in to bridge that gap in terms of advocating for that more resources. But most importantly, for the challenge facility, what it does is that it creates also room for new opportunities in terms of building capacity around new innovations. And some of these innovations have seen its way through the TB reach. So it's like growing from being a baby to adolescent and becoming an adult. So we've seen that trend happening, within from the challenge facility. We've also seen a lot more of challenge facility grantees also becoming even PRs, in their various countries, well, not just So their participation of challenge facility within this whole mechanism is actually an additional resources going into the country, and additional resources also trying to adventure into some kind of innovations that can be scaled up, by the program. And we've seen also directions from the challenge facility also going towards the community's right agenda, which are actually more of key overarching interventions of the civil society. And what it does is that it's building a accountability framework for us to be able to show that evidence. Because evidence, the language has always been, where is the evidence? You want to go into this intervention. So, but the evidence is there now. We have all that evidence. So, with the challenge facility mechanism that the topic partnership is created now, or has been always been there, it's been supported by USID, overly supported by USID.
This is a pre-implementation meeting. It's made us understand what the challenge facility is. We compared it with TB Rich. It says this one mainly is geared towards civil society contributing their quota to the national development. And it has to be within the context of the national strategic plan. Clearly, this is what we want to do. So that is why they are here at the National TB Control Programme. Because we are scared here, we would like to know where they are going to situate this and then the support that we are getting. I think that we will move on before questions. So we are very grateful for this. The next one is presentation of the One Impact Ghana by Afreh.
So the One Impact app is still serving its purpose as a tool for community members to monitor the national TB response, the quality of services that are being rendered to TB community members, and then also as a platform to learn about TB. So since the last time we met and engaged with NTP, the tool is still online, very active. Everybody can access it. There's been a few updates to it. And so the last time, I think that we had only 3 districts in 3 regions on the platform, but currently it's been scaled up to 9 districts. And so facilities within all these 9 districts in 3 regions are on the platform. Yes, thank you. That's the short update.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just like you said, is to support the main service delivery, Ghana Health Service. So clearly, but this is a community-led monitoring. So, for instance, if we have TB patients, TB affected persons in the community, TB affected implies that either I have TB or I'm cured of TB. I'm a TB affected person. For instance, if I have challenge with usage of medications, if I'm having side effects, the One Impact will indicate, it has a geographical location and it can tell me that I'm very close to Adabraka polyclinic. So let me find out the TB affected person will link this person to Adabraka polyclinic where the person collects his or her medicines. That means that the health practitioner must be aware and must see it and put it into perspective that this one impact is going to help support persons, but not, you see, the impression that if you are not careful is that this app is going to destroy our work. They want to report on us. They have 3 eyes. The 3rd eye is reporting on us. They want to come and destroy our work. But that is not so. So in your advocacy, let it be clear. It came to support health practitioners in the health facilities. That means that they must own it. Okay? So that is what I will add on. It's a very good tool. Let's refine it. But we need to build it up as we move on. Some of the questions that we think that they are not culturally acceptable.
My expectation is that the TB program will be very, very interested in this because we did a lot of work with you. You were on the field with us for a number of days with your staff. There was a training of the champions who were there. I think it for me, looking at this, it's something that Ghana has to start thinking of doing. Even though we are doing it, we need to scale it up. We need to include it in our GC7 because it is giving us information, is empowering. I saw this morning when I woke up, I saw one of the champions asking a question on it. If you are on the app, which I believe that many of us are already on it because we ensure. The champion was asking a question on, I've taken the ARV, I've taken the treatment and now they say my lungs are all collapsed. You understand? So immediately there was an answer that please go quickly to the health facility, the nearest health facility, and I think it was Doris or something. Okay, Emmanuel responded immediately. And so it's very interactive. It is not sitting down for someone to take care and come to hospital before. You can be in your room and get an answer and immediately you take an action. And I think even though we are managing it, it is for us to ensure that our information is there. The facilities we are working with, they are all on it actually. The health facilities, the 3 now is 9. They are all on it. So NTP needs to get, Stanley has been actively involved. I don't know if Stanley is here. But it's something that we expect you, the NTP to really be part. We can ask the community team to come again and provide. But I think the service we are here, we can support and own it as something for the country. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was working with a civil society organization receiving funds from the same donor, coming together and working together. I think Chief talked about dribbling resources. And so the discussion is whatever we are doing that we all have it, we come together and implement it. And so the first thing that we want to do is to sign MOU among CSOs. And even with NTP, I think something we are doing like this, we need to agree. So that these are the activities, this is what we are doing, what is your role? We need to agree. So we will be holding that activity, maybe signing MOU. I think it just clearly define our various roles as organizations and also look at our accountability to the people. So for us, we want to just share. So the MOU sign will be discussed. We have a draft MOU that will be signing just to partner. And then the community-led monitoring activity, we want to establish steering committee, not to just work in silos. Because Jerry also has community-led monitoring. I don't know if Sport TV also have, but if it's 2 of us who have that community-led monitoring, we want to see how we can meet maybe with NTP, come out with the tools that will be put in the money back and help us to achieve our objective. Because we will be measured based on the objectives. And I think it's very important, so we need to agree on the indicators. The community-led monitoring is ongoing. I don't know. This thing here, I don't know. It's not on my laptop, so I don't know if it's a machine. So the volunteers, the TB champions will be collecting the data, working with the Ghana Health Service, TB focal persons. National launch of the meeting, I think it has been launched at the various districts, but we need to do the national one. And when the program manager was talking, I heard him saying that this is part of the national. So we might not be able to exhaust all the resources for this. And so we need to think of what else we can do. As for the TB, training the TB champions, it has been done. Data collection is ongoing. Quarterly monitoring of field activities will be taking place. And then data verification will be done to translate the validated report with Ghana Health Service stakeholders and also national level. We're supposed to do quarterly data and disseminate the findings of the community-led monitoring, so which we plan to do. And then, I also want to share that we pay the Dura technology every year. Before we started, we paid $25,000 to get the app. And every year we have to pay. So if Ghana will adopt, maybe you need to really agree on this payment and how the ownership will be transferred to us. I don't know. That discussion has to go on. Because they provide regular support, they check the system, they update the system, they provide regular support to us. And so it's actually not free because it's their app, the ownership is there, and we need to look at it from that angle as we move forward. They wanted us to pay $10,000 this year, but we are unable to pay. So we pay $5,000. So the beginning was $25,000. So as a national, as a country, we might need to agree and have that discussion with them to know how Ghana can own it. Now the scale up, so we need to look at this.
I think we can discuss that. And this is around scale up. The 5,000 that talking about is around scale up, right?
Yes, around scale up, training, support, updates, and we get regularly to them, so we need to look at that.
So we can discuss that. I'm not sure that it's any, it's supposed to be a one-time thing, and then now follow. So we can discuss that.
Okay. Now, our second objective under this activity is to reduce stigma, human rights, and gender-based issues faced by people affected by TB on evidence gathered using the One Impact. I think it will talk about it. So we are still partnering with our team. Join the Regional Health Directorate, CCN, others. I know as funds are dwindling, we also want to ride on existing platform, things that are happening. I know the oversight committee visit the field regularly. We want to be part and see what is happening and really together as a country address the gaps that we see there. And I know NTP joins those meetings, so we just want to move together. And then there's supposed to be midterm review to review projects and then re-strategies. I think this will be done after 6 months, look at our activities. So the radio discussions, we train the media people already, so there is opportunity for radio discussion on the deadly divide, which we'll be discussing for now on that. Now we have a psychologist as part of our team, and we have the toll-free number now. And so whoever has issues, you can just call the toll-free number with the psychologist. It will officially introduce them. We are partnering School of Psychology in this area, so there will be a need to have some training for them, which maybe later we'll get back to you, so that they can handle the toll-free. That is free to the community members, so anybody can call, and then they can, if it is something beyond them, people have to be home to refer to. think that is what we are also doing. One important thing we want to do is to document success stories, case studies, which is part of the program that we want to do. And so we're supposed to continue the community-led impacts, community-led monitoring, partnering the various partners, because we'll be developing some of the indicators with TV Voice and then NTP to see how we can work together in this area. And then to strengthen I think the human resource part is there, advocacy and other things that we're supposed to do during the GC7. I think we were part of the development, one of our staff have been part of it, and I think it's part. So that the direct activities are there. So these are the objectives for our program for the round 11.
Because of the hosting and other expansions.
They say, Madam Rita, I expect you to,
But that is not something another person can do.
okay, so they didn't talk. Yeah, but so this is the implication. So, Madam Rita, so maybe if you are not talking here, let me know where you come. Okay, thank you. Presentation by TV Voice Network.
Our project officially started on 1st May 2023. That's when we signed the contract according to the terms of arrangement with CFCS. They wanted to start to implement money. And we are expected to end it on 1st April 2024. Our budget is $75,000 for the year. The districts that we are working with is Greater Accra, Central, and Eastern.
So that's are you here?
Yes, sir.
You see, Central is here. Greater Accra, Adelaide is not here. Eastern.
So as Chief said earlier in his presentation, our program is actually based on some of the gaps that we identified in NSP. So we are in our own small way trying to see what we can do to bring the gap. And also, it's a follow-up from our round 10. The round 10, the intervention is also based on some activities that were not budgeted in NFM3. So we also look at it. So this is a continuation. So we have not actually written a whole new grant. It's basically a continuation of our round 10 grant, which principally look at TPT, uptake, and then stigma. And just let me give a little brief of round 10 so that it will make sense. So in round 10, we selected 9 facilities in 9 districts in Central, Eastern, and Greater Accra to see what we can do to improve TPT uptake within these facilities. In basically trying to look at the qualitative aspect of it, not necessarily, or let me see, the soft side of the challenges. Because our idea was that TPT uptake can be improved if we can reduce stigma. So that is the analogy that we use to drive our intervention. So we did more of focus group discussions with key vulnerable populations when it comes to TB, so like HIV, TB indexes, to encourage them to talk to their household contacts why they should take TB. So that was the angle we looked at to see whether we can improve. Whilst, and I think, and thirdly also, the facilities that did not have 3HP because of the toll burden. Also to see whether if we bring 3HP there, will it improve uptake. So that was what we did in round 10. So in round 11, we veered a little bit. It's not like we won't do what we are doing. We will still continue to do those 3 key activities. But we will want to see whether we can report and then I know it's there, but the completion data on TPT. What can we do to make it better? Let me put it that way, and easy to access. Okay, because I think that is one of the. It's not only Ghana, globally, TPT completion is a big sign. Okay, and of course, stigma is if you look in the UNHCR target these two things are key things that they are looking at, stigma, TPT issues. So we still want to stay within that area. So in around 11, this is the part we want to do. Coming to stigma, we know we did the stigma index 201 and operationalizing has been a challenge. So as committee members, we want to take the community level aspect of it, and of course the evaluation of it, to see what we can do to take that one off the table, while the national league are the other ones that are in the action plan to stigma index. And then of course the coming on CIG, we also trying to see what we can come up with a scorecard for Ghana, so that the pilot is a pilot actually. Once it comes, we can contextualize it and see what as Ghana we can do with it. So that's also one of the things we want to look at. And then improving TB literacy among our fans, because to drive away stigma and to let them understand that outbreak of TB is key to their households, they need to address the fear of stigma. So that's also something that we want to look at. Then of course, like I said earlier, the competing with for TPT. That we are going to do with, as we discussed earlier, capacity building for the staff at those facilities first, and then our champions. So everybody will have a role to play in that way. And then going back to our focus group discussion, we will go back again and educate them on the patient charter, and so that they know their rights and what they can do and bringing their stigmatized and all that. And then also the role that our facility people do, because we know stigma is not only for community members, also at the facility. But level of stigma is also there if you look at the stigma in the state. So that's what we are looking at. And then the last one is, of course, everybody is doing it. Advocacy to the Union High Meeting 2023. So this in broad is what we want to do.
There are a lot of things we can leverage. There are a lot of things we can do together. And so I think this meeting, it shouldn't be just one meeting.
Exactly.
We can come back again and relook at and periodically review and planning and input. So my suggestion is we go forward again.
Facility grantees are meeting with the NTP to discuss their intervention within the Challenge Facility program, and also highlight a little bit of their engagement with the high level meeting. So you just joined the right on time to discuss the high level meeting with us. So we want to give you the floor to discuss that when we move on to the challenge.
Thank you so much, Chief, and thank you to the colleagues at the National Tuberculosis Programme and all of the grantees who are there. Firstly, it's a great initiative to have this discussion. Obviously, at the start of the grant period.
James, can we see your face, please?
No, I don't have a camera. Apologies.
Okay. Let's proceed.
Okay. I think I know many of you anyway, so if not, we'll have to meet in Afreh again one day soon. So I just like a couple of things. Maybe a comment in the background voice. My neighbour is doing some renovations. So I guess first and foremost what I wanted to say is we know that the high-level meeting is taking place in September. We know that the negotiations for the political declaration are currently happening now. And the reason I guess I wanted to just sort of join and comment a little bit here is because I guess at the heart of all of the challenge facility for civil society work is this idea around community rights agenda. This sort of focus on the need to be able to identify, to analyse, to monitor, to mitigate and overcome different barriers that are impeding people accessing the services that they need. And I guess to sort of develop interventions that can help overcome those barriers, so you can find the missing people with PB. So I guess that's the sort of the basis around the challenge, around challenge facility in this area of work. Obviously in Ghana, there has been a lot of progress here. I know that we've got currently underway work to complete the TBCOG assessment, develop a cost of TBCOG action plan. There's also been work to pilot and subsequently will be further work on scaling up community-led monitoring. And these sorts of things are very much go to the heart of this area of work. The connection with, I guess, the high-level meetings, right now, I guess a lot of the negotiators still don't know so much about this area of work, why that it's important. And so one of the things that will be really important for colleagues in Ghana, but also Ghana as part of the group of the G77 countries, which is, belongs to G77, it represents close to over 100 different countries, is to, I guess, really be sure to sort of reach out and to make sure that your negotiators on the Ghana mission and our quick, I guess, about community rights agenda work that's happening in Ghana and why it's important and complementary to the broader TB response, towards the TB response. I guess that you would hope that, maybe I guess in the next few weeks you're going to have those negotiations really ramping up. And so it will be really important, I suppose, for Ghana, along with other countries in the region who have really been taking this work forward, to sort of make sure that this is something that features in the political declaration. As I said, because Ghana is also part of the G77, it would be important, I suppose, for when sharing this information with colleagues in the country, in the higher up in the Ministry of Health, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to also, I suppose, request information or a request to the mission to ensure that this position is also communicated with the G77, who's speaking on behalf of Ghana and many other countries as well. So I think this is something that I think is of particular importance. I note that in all of the grants that you have in Ghana, all of those at the country level, but also noting that there's a regional grant as well, that Chief Austin, I guess, is heavily involved in, just to sort of think about how you can use the advocacy budget line that's included there, the advocacy budget line around the high-level meeting and around broader TV accountability, to maybe sort of really elevate the importance of this area of work, in addition to other country-level priorities as well that you really want to see taken forward. Fast forwarding again, so I guess so that's the first part and a really important one for right now. The second part that I talked to, and it'll be very brief, is more looking towards September and the high-level meeting. It would be really important now to, I guess, have discussions with your Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as, I guess, leadership in the Ministry of Health, to understand who will be part of the country delegation, both from government, but also from civil society, and to make sure that there's some leadership there from the TB side. Ideally someone from the National Tuberculosis Programme and ideally a civil society member, both part of the official delegation. So that's something that would be great to sort of start up those discussions to understand what would be possible and what steps are needed to have those people included as part of the formal delegation. And the final step is, I guess, a lot of these meetings can be, have the opportunity to be really influential, to mobilise a lot of support, to generate that ambition and the focus on TV that we really want to see. And one of the things that can help that a lot is if the leadership in Ghana, whether it's the head of state, the Minister of Health, whoever is representing Ghana at the high-level meeting, is also able to make a pledge, a commitment on behalf of what Ghana is going to be doing on the way forward. Because I think that that's something that can be really useful. We heard in the last high-level meeting, for example, the United States announced the accelerator. We heard pledges from countries like Pakistan and India around what they were going to further invest or further do. And so to have that as something from Ghana would also be really interesting and strategic. And that's something that I guess I would encourage you all collectively to think about what that could look like and how you would look to champion that going forward. It's an opportunity to really put Ghana in a leadership position, not just in the region, but I guess across the whole continent in Africa and across the globally part of the global effort that's required to NTB. So I guess those are the three things that I really wanted to kind of use the opportunity to mention today. So firstly, the need to champion a lot of these CRG priorities and to make sure that your mission in New York and your foreign affairs is well briefed on this and is passing that on to your G77 colleagues as well. Secondly, around representation at the high-level meeting, both from the NTP and from civil society to ensure strong TB voices. And finally, some sort of pledge or commitment that maybe Ghana can emphasise that leadership. Thanks so much, Chief. Happy to answer any questions, and back to you and all the colleagues in the room.
Thank you, James. Thank you, James, for engaging. I don't know if anybody have any questions or clarification or something.
Yeah. Hello, James. Thank you so much for your brief presentation. Saturday, my name is Dr. Yaw Adusi-Poku, the program manager. On last Saturday, we met. Civil society presented what they would like the president to put up on the world stage, the key acts. Please, are you aware? Are you in consonant with this? Because I'm very much interested. Over.
So yes, I would have to understand exactly what the asks that were presented were, but very aware of a lot of the discussions that community and civil society has had in inputting in terms of global key asks, and also I guess the calls to action from some of the accountability reports the community have led. And I think that this is something that's of critical importance. One of the only thing, maybe the specifics around those key asks that you would like me to comment on, very happy to do that. But one of the comments I guess I've made right now is, given that there's a political process happening, obviously in many countries, in Ghana, we're having the discussions like you had on the weekend, but also in New York, where the political declaration is being drafted. So I guess one of the things that would be important, though, is just to be, over the coming short period, the next few weeks, maybe even just the next week, to really understand what some of those priorities might be that were in that key asks and were discussed with community and other stakeholders, but what's currently in the draft political declaration, and what might be the areas that we need to focus on or really prioritise to ensure that they're not left out, or at the same time that they're protected and make sure that they stay in to really set up, I guess, the strongest TB response going forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Any other comments? Questions? James, thank you so much. I think we'll leave you. Just as we wanted to see, put a face to the beautiful Australian voice. But that's fine. Maybe next time.
Apologies for that, Austin. Apologies. Next time for sure. Maybe I'll send all of the team there, like a photo with my name on it and sign it on the back.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
So now, the beautiful thing is that we always have heads of states attending this because it's built around the UN General Assembly. So heads of states will definitely attend the General Assembly and take the opportunity to also engage in the high-level meeting. So, and the TV on, it's not just only TV, we have UNC, we also have the pandemic prevention department also happening at the same time. But TV will be on the 22nd September, and it's actually at the main meeting where the heads of state will be meeting as well. So we expect them to be doing a lot of pledging and declarations in terms of what their support will be, also what they are doing at the country level to make sure that they get to. Now, you see, the thing that has been happening is that whenever such meetings happen, we don't take, except from what the heads of state say, especially like from Ghana, we don't even know what the president said in 2018. Because those are what we're supposed to use for advocacy, because they say a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, they are not domesticated, they don't translate to resources or interventions that we should be using at the country level. So let's focus first of all on making sure that our president makes very good statements in terms of commitment to the reality of the plan, and the only way it can happen is getting information from the program. So we are seeing a disconnection from that high-level meeting and the program. So we are pushing the civil society. What we're supposed to do is to push, so that the government, when they are going there, they go well prepared in terms of going with knowledge that what the program, the gap that is coming from the program. Secondly, we'll make sure that when we go there, we can actually plan as a country to have an activity. And that activity can also be linked to other African Union activities or other global activities that are actually happening. And it will be showcased as part of the list of activities that will be happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that we will have to go into the Times Square to have an activity. We can have an activity anywhere in New York, and to link us to the president, to meet with the president, discuss even if we don't end up meeting with the president, but at least let's make that move. It's very important. It will be in their protocol, and so that we can push for it. And the only way we can push, that now our PM is a civil society friendly person. And if we have him there, he will also be speaking the language that we need to give him. we need to speak the same language that we want to see there. So that's the way to go. But I mean, apart from that, anybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just full disclosure, I will be speaking at the opening session too. I have been invited to speak at the opening session.
Good. Vice Chair, that's great. Thank you. I had a professor who said, who went to one of the pediatricians to Nigeria to pass her exams finally. She passed all her exams straight. She said, I created you. So Ghana created him. Okay,
so these are the project objectives. We have 4 of them. First, to establish a sustainable TB advocacy committees at the regional and district levels by March 2024, to build the capacity of a number of committee members in CRG tools for promotion of TB and CRG services by February 2024, to undertake quarterly advocacy monitoring, and then participate in the advocacy and initiatives at national, regional, and global levels. Next slide, please. So, okay. So these are project activities. The first is the inception meeting with NTP, which is what we are in now. And then we have the needs assessment. Now the needs assessment is what will help us to design region and district specific intervention, because we know some of the issues associated with CRG, TB service, SND, many of them are region and district specific. So the needs assessment will help us to design specific interventions for them. And then we have the stakeholder meeting and the project launch, where we'll bring all our stakeholders on board, introduce the project, solicit their support towards the success of the projects and all that. Then we have this established 16 regional TB advocacy committees. So these will be committees across the country who will be overseeing, supervising, as well as championing TB, ensuring that TB services are being correctly provided at the various regions. And they will have 20 district level committees working with them to ensure that all the issues associated with TB intervention in those districts and regions are addressed. Next slide, please. We have conducted advocacy capacity training workshop for the regional and district committee members. So we'll be using the CRG tools and all the resources that we have to train them on how to effectively and correctly address all issues associated with TB in their regional and district levels. So maybe if there's an SND issue, the human rights abuse, there is TB services, improper TB service delivery issues, they will be trained on how to correctly identify and address all those issues. So we also have quarterly regional and district community-led monitoring and meetings. So these are quarterly meetings that will, where the community-led issues that have come up in the midst of the activities will be discussed and addressed. And then we have engagement in NFM4 processes, which is the GC7, and then engagement in the 2023 UNHLM. Thank you very much.
So we will agree on that meeting here.
No, she will probably follow.
So it's part of the way forward.
I don't want us to say this and then I think we need to conclude. There are very important things that we are talking about here. And also to look at the leadership. It's NTP. Whatever we are doing is just to complement the work of NTP. So please take charge, because we cannot implement stigma in there. Whatever they are doing, we are all going to be part of what we are doing. And then we see how we can leverage on your work. I mean, that is what we are doing.
So Cynthia, that's why I asked you to be writing the notes, recording, then the next steps. Okay, so the last time,
Scotty B, in fact, pioneered one of the world's most, I wouldn't say most, but one of the world very effective advocacy activity that ever happened somewhere in 2018 was the initiative of the TB 33%. We've all been complaining. Chief said it, that there's no money in the pot, the funding is dwindling, all sort of beautiful adjectives to make this work look beautiful. At the end of the day, boiled down to the fact that there's no money for TB. So this initiative came, TB 33%. We all know that still up to now, we are still receiving 18%. So what can we do to increase more funding for TB? So Scott TB brought the idea in 2019 in Geneva that why not start making noise that, okay, TB, we are not receiving enough, we need TB, we need 33%. Then that campaign took over the world. People shook it in Bangkok, all over the country. There were a lot of videos from ACT Africa. Some of our country partners also did a couple of videos shouting and requesting for more increased funds for TB. And we could see that even though we didn't get the 33%, but we are not been receiving like we used to receive. There's been some kind of improvement, and that is something that we should celebrate. And it's not our success, but it's the success of each and everyone who is in the fight to end TB. Yes, this is our core project. We are realizing, okay, what is core TB coming to do on the table? Core TB is coming with a very interesting area, and also looking at an area that the program will be very key to know, because we are going to provide the program with a lot of information and data so that we'll use it to improve programming to ensure that the Global Fund strategy that says that we should be able to reach the last mile, we are able to reach these people with intervention that they so desire for us to be able to end TB by 2030 or possibly India by 2025. So the project is titled Leave No One Behind. Leave No One Behind is not something that is so new, very new to anybody. If you are familiar with the Global Fund system, the principles of the system of the Global Fund is to ensure that no one will leave no one behind by making sure we put the marginalized people first, or the people who are far to reach. So our aim is to map TB key population in the country. When we talk about TB key population, the word key population is self-explanatory and self-defined when in our various settings and where we're working on. Our overall aim is to have a reliable data. And I remember in our Geneva meeting, board meeting, the executive director, Luchika, a very passionate person, if you have met her or listened to her before, she always talk about data. Data is the entry point when we want to make any intervention. If there is no data, then all interventions are going to be on a vacuum, or somebody will sit down and imagine something. How are we going to ensure that this population that we call the last mile, or this population who needs our intervention, we've been able to ensure that we have a reliable data, we know the size statement, we know their problems, we know what the issues are, the challenges, so that the program will be able to better come out with an intervention that will meet these people in all their diversity. And this is very key for us, because we also know that the program is doing a lot. Our NSP has also tried to define some, but we see that there is more to be done. So we want to complement the effort of the program to ensure that the program has a very comprehensive interventions for everyone.
Bringing us to this stage of our meeting. Indeed, we ask for your grace. You have been graceful with us. You have given us ideas. You have led the way. We pray for strength. We pray for insight to be able to look through and be able to achieve the objectives which we have raised. Guard and guide us even as we live here in all our ways. In Jesus' name.